All right, welcome. Today, we're going to break down a really big concept, capital management, but we're going to do it with a story. Think guilds, queens, and dragons.
Okay, so let's set the scene. We're in the Guild of Aurelia. They're doing great, you know? They've mastered their day-to-day money stuff. But there's a much bigger question just around the corner.
And here it is from the Queen herself. This question, it gets right to the heart of what we're talking about today. It's forcing the Guild and us really to think beyond the everyday stuff. We're talking about those huge what-if moments, the kind of thing you never see coming. So the Guild's planner steps in and explains this super important difference. On one hand, you've got reserves. Think of that as gold you've set aside for things you know are coming, predictable promises and claims. But then, on the other hand, you have capital, and that's totally different. That's the extra cushion. It's the shield for the stuff you have no idea is on the horizon.
And right away, we hit the central conflict, the big debate in capital management. You've got the risk taker basically saying, hey, why are we just letting all this gold sit here? It's wasted. It could be out there making us more money, earning returns.
But then the watcher jumps in with the other side of the coin. Hold on a second, they say. This isn't just about making more gold. This is about survival. Because if you have too little capital, just one disaster, poof, the guild is gone. And with it, all the trust the villagers had in them.
And then the gatekeeper shows up. Now think of the gatekeeper as the regulator, the one who sets the rules. And they basically end the argument. They say, look, having enough capital isn't just a nice to have. It's not optional. It's the law of the land. Without it, you literally cannot operate. It's the foundation of everything.
So to really put their capital to the test, the guild decides to run a simulation. They need to see how they'd hold up against a massive, unexpected disaster. And what's a better disaster than a dragon attack?
So check this out. First, a small dragon shows up, a minor attack. The first thing to go, the reserves. That's what they're for, right? The expected stuff. But then, the capital cushion has to step in and absorb the real shockwave. And this is the key. When a major dragon storm hits, a true catastrophe, that capital buffer isn't just a nice safety net. It is the only thing that keeps the guild from collapsing completely.
But here's where things get really interesting. The guild learns that the biggest threats aren't always the ones you can see. Sometimes, they don't attack your gold vaults at all. They attack something much, much more fragile, your reputation.
And this is the big twist in our story. The next attack isn't a fire-breathing dragon, it's just a whisper, a rumor, spread by rival guilds that Aurelia's vaults are almost empty. And what happens? Total panic. Villagers lose faith, they pull their trust. It's basically a run on the bank. It just goes to show you, perception can be just as deadly as a real-world disaster.
And the lesson here is so important. Survival isn't just about how much gold you actually have in the vault. It's about how strong people think you are. In this world, confidence is just as valuable as coins.
Okay, so that's our story. Now for the fun part. Let's decode this parable. What does all this talk of guilds and dragons and gold actually mean in the world of modern finance?
So, the big question is, what does the guild story really represent in finance and insurance? Let's map it out.
And you can see the parallels are pretty much one-to-one. The Guild, that's an insurance company. The Dragon Storm, that's what we'd call an extreme stress scenario. Those dangerous rumors, that's the loss of policyholder confidence. And of course, the gatekeeper is the financial regulator, and the capital cushion is the solvency buffer.
And all of this brings us to the formal, textbook definition of capital management. It's the whole process of making sure an insurer has enough surplus, enough capital, to do three critical things: absorb those unexpected shocks, follow the rules set by regulators, and, maybe most importantly, keep policyholders feeling confident and secure.
So why should you care about any of this? Well, understanding how capital works is absolutely crucial. And it doesn't matter if you're a pro in the field, a student hitting the books, or just the regular person with an insurance policy.
Our story also gave us a peek at the toolkit, right? The actual methods for strengthening that capital buffer. You can raise capital from shareholders, our nobles. You can retain your earnings, which is just using past profits to build up that cushion. You can use reinsurance, which is basically transferring some of your risk to another company. And this is a big one, you have to be transparent. No trying to hide shortfalls like the trickster wanted to do. That's the quickest way to destroy trust.
Now, for any professionals out there, especially for studying for an exam like CP1, you know these strategies don't happen in a vacuum. They're all part of a professional framework called the actuarial control cycle. And it's exactly what it sounds like, a cycle. You define the problem, you develop a solution to address it, and then you monitor the results to see how it went. Then you start the loop all over again. It's a constant process.
So at the end of the day, what's the big takeaway? This isn't just some internal accounting thing for big corporations. Strong capital management is what protects us, the consumers. It's the system that makes sure the promises made to you can actually be kept, even when things go completely sideways. It's really the bedrock of the entire financial system.
All right, to wrap this all up, let's go back to that one core idea we started with. It's a simple fill in the blanks. Reserves cover expected promises, while capital protects against unexpected shocks. If you get that one distinction, you understand the fundamental secret to financial survival.